Mama's got the vibe. Mama's got the vibe.
Yo, what's going on, people? What's going on? How y'all doing out there? Santee Rescue 29, Joe Morgan, Troopy, what's going on with you, man? I appreciate y'all coming in here. Today, like I said, we were going to do a watch party today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start the video. It's going to be the ride-along episode 12. Unfortunately, the interview that I was supposed to have with my partner, he got called in to work, so he's not going to be able to make it to the he's not going to be able to do the interview. But after we watch it and everything, I'm opening it up for you guys to join me and ask me any kind of questions y'all might have about the video or anything like that. So let's go ahead and get it started, man. YouTube, what is it? Your boy Diesel from DDTV. All right, man, here with another episode, and we've already got started, man. I've already been dispatched to a call, a disturbance call, so we're gonna see what's going on, man.
Dispatch information has been updated.
Dory Road. Dory Road. Dory Road. 14 candles from the Copy.
All right, so had a call to assist DSS on a call about abandoned children being abandoned in the house, being left alone. So we went out there earlier. DSS got out there, and so they called us to go back out there with them. There was a little argument going back and forth between the suspect and the person that actually. All right, for some reason it's echoing. Let me see what I can fix, man. Actually called 911, but not really much for us to do anything. So that was it on that one. We're just gonna move on. It's getting kind of busy today, man. I don't know what's going on, but it's getting kind of busy today. Cat's full, so we're gonna see what's going on.
Negative. I'll be around. Cool.
She ain't got no insurance or license. So trying to call somebody to come and get her. And might have to call for the next rotation.
You already got it.
I haven't called yet because she's trying to prove that she has insurance. She's calling the insurance company now. The kid throwing the damn baby dolls out the window. Oh man, that's hilarious.
2220 your status.
I'm gonna do something recording.
10-4 run, no further.
I'm coming up there.
Dispatch information has been updated. Dispatch information has been updated. Dispatch information has been updated.
The officer
Hey, cool.
was saying that they verified that there was no insurance.
The DMV is showing that there's an insurance stop on her vehicle. What insurance does she have on her vehicle?
She has Liberty Mutual. I can electronically send the filing back over to North Carolina.
Yes, you're gonna have to do that. But what is the actual? What is the policy number?
Information has been updated.
The policy number, sir, is 0.
Okay, that's the policy number they have in here. But like I said, it says insurance policy terminated date of January 4th of 2021. So
Yeah, I don't see anything that was terminated. I don't know if that might have been her previous insurance that sent you guys verification.
no, it's the same. It's the same policy number you just gave me.
I'm not sure. It's been a continuous policy. There's been no lapse or no cutoff or anything. Even her payments have been on time every time. So I'll resend it if that's okay. I'll just resubmit it to the DMV.
Yeah, I'm not going to give her a citation for it since you're verifying that she does have insurance. But just so she doesn't have any future problems, you might want to go ahead and send that up to let them know that she did have insurance around that time. They're saying it got canceled or whatever.
Yeah, too easy. I'll do that right now for you.
All right. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Uh-huh. 2220 be 10X citation.
Yeah, more.
All right, so I wrote her a citation for speeding. She was on a suspended license, and DMV showed that she didn't have insurance, but she called her insurance company. I spoke to the guy. He told me the number that was in the same number that's in file that DMV has on file. It's just that DMV is showing it's been stopped, and the insurance company said they've never had a stop on it. So I let her go ahead, and I didn't write her for that because there are some times where there is a misunderstanding in, DMV and the insurance have a misunderstanding, and they sometimes it comes back that way. So let's move on to the next. 2220. Go ahead, 2261.
How do you go in? Go ahead. You're in. 2010, 22. 27.
10 for them.
Careful.
Take citation. All right, so he got a citation for 51 and a 35. Mainly, most of these cars I stop are going to be around 51 mile an hour, man, because it's 35 and it's not a straight shot. So I'm finding a lot of them are 51. If I get over 51, it's very, very, very seldom. So let's move on to the next one. $22.20. Line 22.61.
$22.20. Go ahead.
And your license is expired. NOL.
Three 2017
Dispatch information has been updated.
Oh man. Good gracious. 2220 B10 citation. All right, so I wrote her a ticket for 58 in a 35, man. She was flying and her license was expired. So she was driving with no license. So she got those 2 charges. We'll move on to the next one. Well, it's raining, guys. Y'all know how I feel about that. So we'll see what happens. But I am halfway through my shift. Still got another shift to go, whole full half of the shift to go. So we'll see what happens as far as my calls go. But I ain't gonna be stopping nothing in this. This is crazy. We'll see. All right, so we got a call for a domestic that we're going to right now. Actually, it's out of the town in the county. It's out of the town, it's in the county, and the county doesn't have any available units close to it. So we're just helping them out on this call. So let's see what's going on. 2221.
14, 12. Okay. 12. 9 abandoned line. Call history and not address.
And it's finally hit him. Finally hit him. Right. Now what the hell am I gonna do? Oh well. We'll let the county handle this. I'm out. Boy, I love that backup assistance. All right. Just the domestic between father and son got kind of heated with them arguing. No assault or nothing like that, but this kind of heated. Son wanted to leave and father didn't want to leave and all this other stuff. But son left, and I guess he's really, I don't know, he's just realizing what he did, I guess, because he's just sitting there with his head in his hands, and he really ain't got nowhere to go. So, let's move on to the next one. 2221, show me 1061.
Right. Yeah.
Red 2227.
10-4, no further. 2220 be 10 written warning.
2220 copy.
All right, she got a warning for speeding. She's not from the area, and she really didn't know where she was. She had GPS going and all that. She had no idea where she was. Where I was sitting was only 20 mile an hour. So she was going 42, but I gave her a warning because like people really don't know. And that 20 mile an hour is like really hard to find in this county. Not many areas that's 20 mile an hour unless it's a school zone or something like that. So I just gave her a warning for it. Twenty-two
2220 good.
Rolling. We're still rolling. We here. We're still rolling. Stand by. Go down to the next road. Go down to the next road. Go down to the next road. 2221. We'll be here at Faithenburg.
Copy Faithenburg.
What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Stop right there.
Go ahead this way.
Come on. For the 2220, 2213 status.
Interval.
Copy, don't.
2221.
2220.
See if our stores have a hearing available, please.
1014, Bowser.
Stop 1055.
No. Twenty-two 20.
Go ahead.
They're gonna send a trooper to you.
Careful.
Further 2213, 2227.
10-4.
Careful.
2412. Further 2213, 2227.
10-4.
10-4.
No further away.
Copy, brother.
Like I said, my man, just put it right over here for me. Yeah.
Clear for everyone.
Copy.
Dispatch information has been updated. Dispatch information has been updated.
I'll check your name and date of birth.
Well, they on the way.
Dispatch information has been
That's
updated.
them?
Yeah. I don't know why he get in trouble.
He said he wanted to get his hoodie.
Dispatch information has been updated.
I'm the only one that does that, right?
All right. Is he getting in that car? You have your license?
Yes, I do.
You get in the car with you?
2412. 1061.
2412, go ahead. 2412, careful.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, we wouldn't.
No, we've been trying to look something another way.
Y'all be careful.
Okay, thank y'all.
All right,
Yes,
no
ma'am.
problem. Appreciate you. I appreciate it.
Simple.
What is he doing now? What are you doing now? Show me to that Coke one.
2412
All right, so I actually initially stopped him for.
Dispatch information has been updated.
2412
I actually stopped him
2412
for 52 in a 20-mile-an-hour zone. But come to find out, there was a bunch of other stuff wrong with him. As you guys saw, he just got a few charges out of that one. So we're gonna move on. All right, YouTube. So I'm done. I am done. Tired, but I'm done. Man, y'all saw basically what happened today. Had a few things going on. That is my 12 hours, and I am kind of tired, man. I'm just gonna clock out right here, and then we'll see y'all on the next one, man. Hope you guys enjoyed the content. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and y'all know what it is, man. I'm out. How about now? Can y'all hear me? Okay, so listen, I ain't no sound guy. All right, I keep on forgetting about this one little notch right here that I gotta turn to turn my mic on. All right, I ain't no sound guy. Y'all gotta bear with me. So, like I said, the first question was, did I let her drive off? And no, I didn't let her drive off. She actually, I told her to drive to a safe place, park her car, and have somebody come and pick her up. Usually, when it comes to stuff like a no operator's license, expired license, or something like a suspended license because they didn't pay a fine, I don't like to get their car towed because it's just going to be another fine they're going to have to pay. And I know with times how times has been, trying to get to court, trying to get in the DMV and stuff like that. It might be hard for you to get your expired license renewed because the DMV has been so finicky with the times have been and all that stuff. All this this new thing going on. I can't say it on live, but this new thing going on. And so I just tried not to tow anybody's vehicle on suspended license, because suspended license usually because they didn't pay their fines or something like that. So if I can have them drive to a safe place and let them sit there, have somebody come pick them up, that's what I'll do. Now, if I see them driving again, which that has happened a couple times, I have seen them driving a second time, I'll tow their car then. But the first initial time, no, I don't. All right, Smitty says, if you move to a new state and have a license to conceal from the previous state, is it still valid? Yes, it is if the actual state honors your license, because New York is one of those states that doesn't really take a concealed carry. So you have to make sure that the state that you're going to honors the license that you are actually carrying. All right. Now, what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to get all that stuff switched out within like 90 days or something like that. But and that's just here in North Carolina. I don't know how it is in other states, but if you move to North Carolina, you have a concealed carry and all that stuff, you're supposed to get everything switched over within 90 days. And if you have a concealed carry from another state, I don't know how that works. If you were to try to get if you had a Texas concealed carry and you came here trying to get a concealed carry in North Carolina, I don't know if they will make you take the class or if you can just switch it out. I don't know that for sure. Jay the shooter might know. I don't know. All right. Trying to look for another question. I know I saw a question on here about a thin blue line on your car. That doesn't work, man. That doesn't work. I know Rescue said something about putting a thin blue line sticker on your car. That really doesn't work. All right. And then Jay the shooter had a question. Give us some tips to get out of those tickets. I'll keep a donut stash in the back seat. Hey, bro, you keep a donut stash in the back seat, I'll say thank you. But most of the time for me, the best thing I can tell you is just don't break the law. But if you do get caught speeding or something like that, just be straight up. I can't stand when somebody says, "Oh no, I wasn't going that fast," or "Oh no." The ones that's be like, "You know what? You got me. I was just trying to get home," or "I'm tired," or "I'm just driving, trying to enjoy it," or "I got a fast car and I'm trying to see what it do." That's one of them things where I'm more likely to say, "Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna give you a ticket for it, but I'll let you go on a warning or something like that." You know what I'm saying? I'm about to open it up for you guys to come on here. Matter of fact, let me send this link real quick. So if anybody wants to come on in, they can come on in. Let me see. Hold on real quick, guys. All right. Anybody that wants to come on in, y'all go ahead and come on in. Y'all can ask me any questions or anything like that if you want to about the video, and we can talk about it. Let me see. Any more questions, y'all? I'm kind of behind on the chat, so y'all got any more questions? Just ask, man. All right. So as I told you guys before when we first started, the guy that was in the last scene, my partner 2213, he was supposed to come on tonight. I call his nickname is Snatch because he's always calling a tow truck. But the reason why he's always calling a tow truck is because the cars that he runs a lot of tags, and the cars that he stopped don't have any insurance on them in it. You know, you can't be driving on the road without any insurance. Anything else will probably be all right, but no insurance will for surely. I will tow every car that doesn't have insurance on it. And that's why in that first call, one of the first ones you saw where I made sure that lady had insurance, because I was ready to tow her car, because, you know, that's just one that makes insurance prices go up. That hurts us more than anything. So that's why I call him Snatch, because he's always calling a tow truck for somebody who ain't got no insurance. Sport Kansas, appreciate it, man. Joe Morgan says, how is Head doing? He's doing good, man. He's going to be in a video pretty soon, man, because I'm switching shifts. Now, I want to tell you guys, these videos are like months behind. They're about 2 months behind. I actually recorded this about 2 months behind. So it'll probably be a little bit before Head gets in the video that I want him to be in. But this weekend is going to be my last shift actually working with him, because I'm going to be switching shifts. My schedule is going to be changing up a little bit. So I'm be switching shifts. So I won't be working with Head no more, man. We'll be off on the same day. So you might not see him on my ride along videos, but you might see him on a couple of my, you know, rain videos or something like that. Sporting Kansas says, how long have you been a cop? I've been a cop for 16 years, man. 16 years. All right, guys, let's the chat is open. If you want to come on in here and talk with me, man, you can. Joe Morgan, I'll be sure to let him know, man. I will be sure to. Joe says, tell Head thanks for the ammo for reviews. Oh yeah, I thank him almost every day I see him, man. He came through on the clutch. Yeah, I thought for sure Santee would come in here. She might be busy, y'all. She might be out getting groceries again. I don't want to catch her with the groceries in her hand. Was there any? Did I miss any questions? DB says, DCB Cuban says, where do you work out of? I'm in North Carolina. I don't actually give the actual department I work for, but I do work in North Carolina. And that's all I'm gonna give you. Okay, we got James in here. We're gonna invite James Maxwell, who is James. What's up, man?
Hey man, how are you?
All right, turn your background down. Can you hear me, James?
Yeah, I can. There's a noticeable difference in the delay.
Yeah, turn the background sound off. Turn that off on the background.
There we go. How's that?
That's good. That's good. Okay, so James. So guys, I want to introduce y'all to James.
Hold on
Maxwell.
1 second.
What we holding on for, James?
I have a problem with the microphone. It won't pipe the audio in. Hold on.
Oh, I can hear you.
Okay, you can hear me right now. I can hear myself speak.
Okay. All right. So James is an actual attorney, right?
Yes, an actual attorney.
I think that's why he came on here, because he's an actual attorney. He wants to nitpick what I did. That's what he wants to do. So James, what do you want to talk about, James?
I just wanted to say hello, man, to be honest.
Yeah, I haven't seen you. Where you been, man? Where have you been?
You're the one who's dodging me every time I try to talk to you.
How am I dodging? I'm a busy man, James. I got kids, I got a job, and I got YouTube. I can't just hop on whenever you want me to hop on. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta
You
make
are
time.
worse than a prosecutor.
Did you see anything on the video you wanted to tell me about that I did wrong? Come on, James. I know you saw something.
Do not invite an attorney to do that, man. That is not wise.
Oh, okay. We got Rescue in here too, man. Oh, let me get
Mr.
Rescue.
Rescue
What's up,
29?
Rescue? Yep. What's going on, Rescue? Your internet's choppy again.
Yeah, kind of figured it would.
You said what?
Diesel's got a far better background than I do.
Yeah, I do. I know.
I'll catch up with you later.
Okay.
There we go. You see the closet a bit nicer. That looks nicer. I like how you've got defending innocent people against the throes of the state, cross-examining policemen, you know, the usual thing that we
innocent people, huh? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, all of my clients are innocent, man. You know that.
Oh, I know.
You know how it is, huh?
Yeah. Sporting Kansas says every cop where he lives is mean. Well, a lot of people think I'm mean.
That's a shame.
A lot of people think I'm mean when I interact with them because I'm giving them a ticket. That's what a lot of people don't understand, man. Interaction with police is always 90% of the time a negative interaction.
Well, yeah, even if having a good day.
Right. And even if
you don't call a lawyer when you're having a good day.
Exactly. So even if I'm giving you a warning, I'm still telling you did something wrong. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be a bad interaction regardless. Most of my interactions, the outcome is fine. Nobody goes to jail, but you know, there are those sometimes somebody has to go to jail. But like sometimes police just can't be friendly. I mean, that's just how it is. We're enforcing the law, so we just can't be friendly. Now, to be a butthole about it, I don't know about all that, but
that happened recently, not to me, but to a client of mine.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he was a 17-year-old kid. He's got this, I would call it, I wouldn't say rolling probable cause, but nearly that. It's this beautiful, are you familiar with cars at all? I assume you are.
Yeah.
Okay. Bright orange with a black stripe Shelby. Okay. And he, you know, it's like that far off the road. Yeah, you could just see a thin kid, 17. And, you know, his family's very well off. And he's just, you know, he makes an illegal U-turn because it's red or something. All right. So the cop allegedly sees that. Doesn't pull him over that. He pulls him over for some reason. He waits about a quarter of a mile. They tow around, and then he pulls to the right. Then they pull him over. It's an unmarked vehicle. He comes out in uniform, and he ends up. So his parents, God bless them, didn't know that they just a new car. They took it out that night. They got it dropped off at their house, and they put the plate on from the old car. But they didn't know that they weren't permitted to do that, and unfortunately, it hadn't been registered. The mother had planned to make an appointment with the DMV that day. Had made an appointment with the DMV that day to go ahead and get it registered. Okay, so number one is if you're going to do something like that, don't attract attention. It's like if you're going to speed, do it discreetly. Rule number one. He gets pulled over, and in Florida, it was I defend felonies. I don't defend traffic offenses. So this I actually had to look into because I'd never done a traffic case before. Murder trials, but not. Don't laugh because I had another attorney. He started laughing. So you can defend felonies, but you can't defend. It's like ha 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 ha. Yeah, it's so funny. I guess it is somewhat funny. Anyway, so he gets pulled over, and this policeman very professionally says to him at the end of it, "Go call mommy and daddy." I was like, that's, so I interviewed him before all this happened. And I was just like, that's really nice. That's a professional thing to say to a kid. He was apparently quite polite, and it just ended up with 2 citations. It was 2 misdemeanors, actually, not an infraction. So I took care of that last week. Prosecutor didn't show up.
What?
Prosecutor didn't show up. The courtroom was almost entirely vacant.
Wow. That never happens in North Carolina. Prosecution don't show up. Like they might be a little late, but they show up.
Really?
Oh yeah.
You guys got that much. The prosecutors in your area are apparently that untaxed with work that they have time to prosecute a misdemeanor traffic offense?
Well, I mean, there are certain prosecutors that come to every courtroom.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like you have the ones that call the docket and all that stuff, and those are the ones that do the little small misdemeanors. And then you have the ones that, we have different. You have misdemeanors in one courtroom, and then you'll have a different floor for felonies or something like that, or a different courtroom for felonies.
In Florida, the jurisdiction is. I'm sorry.
And the first appearance, you might have everything in there, but that's where they divvy out where each case is going to go. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like the misdemeanors might stay in that room, but if it's a felony, they say, okay, your next court day is this day in this other courtroom. Where they do.
Typically in Florida, when you get it's misdemeanors can be handled. So there's 4 levels in Florida. There's county. Think about it as North Carolina courts. Very laid back, very nonchalant, no decorum, that sort of thing. I'm just breaking your chops, man. Right. The next one is circuit. Circuit is felony and major civil trials. That's that's where the serious things are. That's where Casey Anthony was tried. Actually, I know the judge who tried that case, and I know he was a senior judge, and I've been in that courtroom repeatedly. Been in that courthouse. It's a nice courthouse. The rooms are huge. I love it. I don't go there anymore, though. Then there's the DCA, the District Courts of Appeal. Then there's the Supreme Court. Federally, it's reversed. So circuit courts are the appellate courts, and district courts are the trial courts.
Right.
I don't know why they do that. Florida's odd. They don't. And in New York, the trial courts are called Supreme Courts.
Okay.
Just random.
Hey, Sporting Kansas, I know you're trying to come in, but you got to connect your at least your mic. You don't have to connect your camera, but you have to at least connect your mic.
So how's it going over there in North Carolina, man?
Man, it's going, man. It's been it's just been so busy, man. We were shorthanded. Now we're back at full staff. Finally we're back at full staff and everything. Hold on.
Mr. Kansas or Miss Kansas says it won't let him.
Yeah, I don't.
I've never used this platform before.
I don't know either. It should tell you how to go ahead and connect and everything. But like I said, yeah, man, we're back full staff. So I mean, working all that overtime and all that stuff that I was doing before, I'm most likely won't have to do it now. Now, 4th of July is just golly, it's just so busy for us. So I'll be working a little bit of over for 4th of July weekend.
It's my birthday weekend.
Huh?
My birthday weekend, July 2nd.
Oh, okay, nice. And then after that, man, I should be back, getting to the range because I really want to go to the range. I might do a range video Monday or Tuesday, man. I want to take that.
I just said ranch. Okay.
PPQ back out to the range and shoot that.
Which one is that one? The PPQ? Which? Oh, the little Walther. Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, the Walther. I haven't even shot it yet. You said what?
They stopped producing the PPQ, didn't they?
I don't know if they stopped producing it. I know they
went
to PDP. They went to making the PDP, but I don't know if they stopped producing the PPQ or not. So
I want to get a PPK. Have you ever gotten one of those?
No.
Yeah, I want to get the walnut one with the walnut grips. It's stainless with walnut. That's going to look kind of nice. I mean, I don't like 380, but I prefer 10 millimeter. But
Right.
22nd. No, mine's July 2nd. Just 1 2, not 2 2s. How is that cigar?
Man, it's nice. It is a Esteban Carrera brownstone, man. Loving it.
Now, what is I've never smoked a day in my life. Is that a high-end cigar? Is it slow burning?
Yeah, this is like a $13 cigar. No, you don't. I don't chew on my cigars. There's a lot of people that chew on their cigars. I don't chew on my cigars, man.
You like to enjoy it.
Yeah, I don't like chewing on anything that's a leaf or anything like that. So, isn't that the B-Law says, isn't that the James Bond gun?
It is. That is correct, sir. Yes.
Okay.
It was the original one, the PPK, although it was chambered in 32 ACP at the time, not 380. 380 was the secondary one. He referred to it as 7.65 millimeter with a delivery like a brick through a plate glass window, which is ridiculous. It's not powerful in the slightest, but pistol calibers have actually increased in power if you look back from the early 1900s to today, whereas rifle calibers have steadily shrunk in power.
Yeah, right.
Like the North Carolina cartridge of 30-06, because that's the North Carolina.
El Ray Dan says I need to come down to Miami and for some of those Cuban cigars.
Yeah,
Man,
it's
I haven't,
not
I
untrue, man.
haven't
There's a lot of
found
them.
yet. I mean, I, I don't know how to phrase this correctly, but I haven't found yet a place where it has true Cubans yet. I just haven't found a true Cuban yet. That I enjoyed for one. I have had a true Cuban, but I didn't enjoy it. But I haven't found a place like a brick and mortar that sells like true Cubans yet, man.
You go to Cuba. I've had relatives that go to Cuba.
I want to go, man, but you can't get over there that easy, man. So I really want to go though.
It's not that difficult. You really don't. I know it was another attorney who went, and he was in this awful hotel, and his legs swelled significantly. It was like an octopus on the side of his calf.
Why?
I don't know, man. I don't know. He caught something. I don't know what happened. Oh, it's just friction. I'm like, it ain't friction, dude. It's not supposed to swell up that damn big. I would never go to Cuba.
B-Law says he had to knock off with the burst of thunder. You know what that is, the burst of thunder?
Yeah, Bursa is, I don't know where it's from, but Bursa makes these. They make a number of 380s, and they're known for that, and smaller pistols.
Yeah, I know what Bursa is. I don't know what burst of thunder is. Exactly what that is.
I don't know that particular model, no.
Hey, Del Rey, man, listen. If you want to send me some cigars to my P.O. box, feel free. It's in the description. My P.O. box is in the description. If you want to send me some cigars, I know B-Law has sent me some cigars. So, hey, if you want to send them, go ahead and send them. And Gort says Dominican cigars aren't too bad as an alt. They're not too bad. They're a very good alternate to a Cuban. I like those in Nicaraguan.
North Carolina cigars.
We don't have an actual like North Carolina cigar that I've smoked. I don't know
tobacco fields.
We do, but there's more like cigarette tobacco. That's
what about pipes? Do you enjoy pipes?
Oh yeah, I have a few pipes. Yeah,
you got pipes. Isn't that like too lawyerly though?
No. Well, I mean, I don't smoke them that often. I don't smoke them that. I smoke them when I want to feel smart, I guess.
Right. Fair. Do you have a smoking jacket?
No. I have a smoking coat.
Oh,
no, I'm just messing. No, I don't. I don't have none of that. Oh, no.
My grandmother, as a child, I used to love the smell of unburned tobacco. I don't know why. I hate the smell of cigarette smoke, but I love the smell of unburned tobacco, though.
Yeah, I love cigars, man. That's just one of my things.
It is a strong odor, though. My machinist, my gunsmith, has a gentleman that works with him. He's an ammo maker, and the guy smokes cigars all day, and it's a pungent odor.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. My man cave, you can smell cigar smoke down in here. A few days after I've smoked, you can smell it.
Uh-huh.
All right, so let's get back to the video, man. Let's get back to the video where we are.
All right, I'm going to start critiquing it.
So I had that first car that I had pulled over, and then there was that second car that I got for 58 and a 35, and she didn't have a license either. So I just had her pull over to a safe place where somebody can pick her up. Now, and you know just as well as I know, once I leave the area, they're gonna pull off and go home. That's exactly what they usually do. They pull off and they go home, and I really don't care. It doesn't matter to me if they do that. My thing about it is, as long as I told them, not to drive, and they can't be driving and all that stuff, and I gave them their ticket, I don't care what they do after that. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how it is with me. And just like I said before,
not to tow them.
Yeah, see, and that's the thing.
There's nothing wrong with being decent to people.
Right. And I don't feel like it's a need to tow everybody for certain things. Like there are some things that just don't need to be, I mean, people are already having a hard time with paying the fine as it is when it comes to the ticket and all that stuff. And then you have the tow bill and all that stuff. And these tow companies charge $120 for the tow, and then like $20-$30 a day for the to store them. So
yeah, that's going to add up if you don't have the money.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just one of those things. I don't want to put anybody just for if they forgot to renew. And some people don't forget. Some people just couldn't get to the DMV because they couldn't get the schedule. Because everything that's been going on. Yeah,
it's the idea of licensure is kind of ridiculous for a car. It doesn't actually stop anything. I mean, people are licensed, crash all the damn time. You look on their cell phone and do stupid shit. So I question the utility of it.
Right.
to put it
Right,
gently.
right.
Hey, we'll have licenses. No one will get in. Let's license all firearms. That way, no one will ever shoot people. Right? Maybe we should license cars. No one will ever get in a car accident.
Right.
Wait, something here just doesn't add up with that.
Right. It's just a good way for the government to get the money. That's all.
I know, but they get tons and tons and tons of money. The Florida bar gets about 8 million or so, or 8 billion. I forgot. It's one of the other. It's an obscene amount of money in revenue from attorneys.
Really? Plus the money they get from tickets and all that stuff.
No, I'm sorry. The Florida bar. It's so each state.
Oh,
so
the bar.
each state. Yeah. So each like the North Carolina bar, for instance, it's an arm of each state's Supreme Court, and attorneys pay membership dues. It's a few $100. Mine's like, I think it's about $300 a year, and it's just an unbelievable source of money for them.
So when they say you got to take the bar, is that what they mean, to become a member?
So there's a little bit of history to that. So I don't know if you're interested in that too much. So the bar itself, the BAR, I don't think it's a capitalized. It's not an acronym. It's simply BAR. It literally just means, so historically there was, if you ever go into a courtroom, you know that little divider?
Right. Okay.
So the space where people sit is called the gallery. And then that little thing is called the bar itself. Now, the reason why it is that is because historically in England, in Old England, during common law times, a man could not cross the bar, could not pass the bar without either being a litigant or counsel. Hence, when it says you're taking the bar, you're assuming the bar. That's what that means.
I got you. Okay.
Or called to bar would be an older term. Yeah, that's where that comes from.
James, you are a wealth of knowledge, man. I learn something from you every time I talk to you.
Oh, well, thank you.
Last time me and James talked, we did it on a Zoom call. Me and him spoke on a Zoom call for a little bit, and he had to bring out his Desert Eagle.
You asked me to see it.
It's trying to make me jealous and all that
absolutely.
Stuff. You know,
hey, you get a badge and stuff. I don't have a nice shiny badge.
You don't need one.
I don't need. Dude, I have no power, man. You have like all the power. I got nothing.
Shoot, you got the power in the courtroom. Shoot,
that's true.
Hey, I know. Listen, I know more than the average person about court, but I still don't know anything. It's a lot. It is a lot.
There definitely is. The real power in the courtroom is the judge, though. That black robe. That's where the real power is. Judges can do a lot of things.
Judges, man, they can overturn a damn jury.
Yes, only in instances of conviction, but it can be reversed on appeal, though. So depending on
if the jury says not guilty, judge can't say no.
A judge cannot. No, a judge may not. That's a violation of the Sixth Amendment's double jeopardy clause.
That is right. Okay.
But a judge can say that, but a jury, so there's 3 instances. Now, each state will have it differently, but the first thing is called a judgment of acquittal, or an older term in federal court would be a directed verdict. So that's done in 3 instances by a good lawyer. The first one is after the state's case in chief. That just means the state presented its evidence. There you go. Defense, it's your turn now. At that point, I would say, Your Honor, the defense moves for a judgment of acquittal or a directed verdict. And the standard of that is about that high that you can't get past it. It's would a reasonable jury find the defendant guilty, which is a prima facie case. It means is the defendant's breath hot when he breathes? That's basically it.
Right.
And it's of course denied. It's always denied. In that instance, if the judge were to say granted, that's it. He gets released that moment. That's it. That's the same thing as an acquittal. That's it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It doesn't happen often, but every once in a while, once in a few times, it will happen. It's rare, but you have to do it though, because you'll waive it on appeal. Then the second time you do it is after the defense's case in chief, before the jury is instructed, and then their case is given to them. When the jury comes back and renders the verdict of guilty, then you can say, Your Honor, we make a final motion for judgment of acquittal. And at that point, because they've already rendered it guilty, if the judge says granted and permits it, then and only then may the state appeal that, because you cannot appeal an acquittal. But in that instance, you can, though.
I got you. See, I tell you, man, hey, listen, I learn something from him every day. If anybody else wants to come in here and chat with me, man,
yeah, absolutely. Please feel free to ask some questions.
On the top of the chat. I pinned it on the top of the chat. If you just look at the top of the chat, you'll see it pinned up there. Just click on that link and follow directions. And you can come in and chat with Diesel.
How can you defend people? I love that question.
What's
I get
that?
asked that. So the most common question is, how can you defend people that are accused of such awful crimes? If he's guilty, does he tell you? Well, how would he know he's guilty? He's a layman. That's a legal question. So, of course not. Of course he's not guilty. None of my clients are guilty. All of them are innocent, and they don't go to jail either. I've not a single one go to jail yet. Why are you? Hey, don't you? I've never seen you laugh like that. What are you laughing for? What? Jesus, that
just
really
like a
made
lawyer. You sound just like a lawyer, man.
I am one. Yeah. What?
Sound just like none of your clients are guilty. I know a few that have been straight up guilty on video, and the lawyer still says he is not guilty.
Yeah, that's pretty embarrassing when the video is so flatly like, all right, that looks pretty bad. Like, all right, let's take a plea bargain. You know, the best. If you got video, then it's pretty embarrassing. Then it's
Oh yeah. I brought video out before, and it was like, usually though on discovery though, you have to tell them you got the video before the case, and then by that time they're
how it works.
or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But if it's a trial, that lawyer thinks that it's just one of the things. It's like, no, you don't have anything.
That's different. I mean, the defense attorney knows if his client's guilty or not. Any remotely competent one knows within about usually the first couple of weeks, assuming he's taking it to trial.
Right.
I mean, I know that it's not difficult to know. One gentleman I'm currently defending is second and third degree felony, and I mean, he's looking at it's just obscene. He's looking at 15 years, man. 10 years for the second degree, and 3 and 5 years for the third degree.
Mm-hmm.
And the state's witness list is absolutely horrendous. The victim complainant has filed suit against him and is asking for an excess of like $1 million. It's completely baseless. So that's going to be fun. And knowing him, this gentleman will not plea. He won't plea. And he's been to court many times.
Probably because he knows he's not guilty.
He is innocent of the charges. That is true. I think he had some indiscretions, but that doesn't equate to guilt or justification of throwing a man in prison.
Right.
Oh, and here's what you're going to enjoy. One of the policemen, and I don't know how this happens. It's a fairly scandalous case, at least some of the things we've uncovered. And I've never been in a scandalous case before. To me, it's usually, the prosecutor's upright, the policemen are usually upright, unless it's related to narcotics. For some reason, I don't know why this is. I don't think you said you work narcotics, but I found some of the dirtiest
9 years, Joe. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing crazy. I worked narcotics for 9 years.
Oh, you did?
Yes. Go ahead. What you about to say, Joe? I mean, James. I'm sorry. What you about to say, James?
I was going to say, deputy, that a case I worked on about a year or 2 years ago, give or take. Years ago, all jumbled. Gentleman in Florida. I don't know how it is in North Carolina. In Florida, it depends on the weight of the cocaine, the weight of the narcotics. In this case, it was cocaine. And that's depending on what it was, like 150 kilos is life in prison. Now in Florida, life is it's 150.
Oh, you said he had 150 kilos?
No, he was he had 149.8.
Oh, he knew what he was doing.
Oh, yes, he did.
He
Absolutely, he did. That was intentional. He did that because he knew that if he did 150, he'd get in prison for life. So he went like a few ounces below. And he told me that, and he said he was 100% sure because he weighed it 3 times before he moved it. He was, I guess you could say, a businessman whose product happened to be cocaine. And he was a fairly nice guy. He was fairly well off. He was in his mid-30s and perfectly... What does that mean? That booger sugar. The
booger sugar. That's what they call it in the hood. Booger sugar.
Oh, is that what? Okay. Oh, I got it. Right. I got it. Yes. He didn't use, though, fortunately, and neither do. Oh, that ain't a joke. I mean, a lot of lawyers use that crap, though.
Oh, I know.
Substance abuse is a serious. Oh, you do? How do you know that?
Oh, yeah. I know. I have a few lawyer friends. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Do they do criminal defense work or the other kind of work?
All kinds. I would say I know 10 lawyers that we talk, and out of those 10, 6 of them have told me stories. Now, they would never admit to themselves doing it, but they told me about other
I knew
things.
This other guy who happened to be a lawyer who did it. Yeah. Just one time, his name was something else.
Like, the lawyer parties are the worst. Like, if it's a lawyer party where other lawyers, those are the worst.
Hey, man, this is how I got through exam week at law school. All right, let's go discuss. And it is some of the most toxic environment is law school, because here's something that you're going to love. When they grade on a curve. Now, what you don't know is that they only give out a certain number of A's. Like they'll give out 3 to 4 A's per class if it's 50 some odd students, and then they have to fight over them. So if you've got 4 students who've earned an A, but you're only allowed to give out 3.
What?
Yup. It is unbelievably
Why is
because screw you. That's why. Because law school is designed to weed people out, and it does. It weeds people out who can't hack it. It's that's just kind of the way that it is. Like even the method they teach you is awful. It's called the case method. It was designed in Harvard Law School in the 1880s or 1850s, I believe. And you don't actually have a textbook. You have a case book. It's literally just a book compiled of many, many, many cases of a particular field of law. And that's how you're trained in how to read law.
Kind of like a case law book, because we have a case law book.
That.
Okay.
Literally just that.
We have a case law book to go back and see, and one of the going stories in law enforcement is you better not make case law. It's usually bad. If a police officer makes case law, it's usually bad.
It's funny because I took a lot of criminal courses in law school, as you could probably imagine. And criminal procedure, that's kind of the base one that it's just 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendment case law is all that it is. And all it is the cops screwing up. That's all that it is. It's just them doing crap they shouldn't do. Remember, ever studied Rochin v. California?
You'd have to remind me. I don't know exactly. I don't know my name. I know the stories, but I don't know the names.
The fact pattern. Sound smart. Say fact pattern. That's what an attorney says.
I don't remember that.
No, he said the story. The fact pattern would be the legal term. Anyway, so if you want to sound smart, you want to sound lawyerly. So Mr. Rochin it was in the mid-1950s. For whatever reason, some cops get a tip that Mr. Rochin, Rochin, is either in possession. This was years and years and years ago that I studied this. Was in possession of some kind of narcotics. I don't know what it was. And they break into the man's home. Well, they didn't. Excuse me. They did not actually. I think they moved the door, so that would constitute breaking and entering. Absent a warrant, they break in. They go up the stairs, up to him and I think it was his common law wife, kick in his door, and they find him there with his shirt off. Again, I'll comment on that in a moment. So I did not. I did all my own work in law school, and it was not fun. Don't ever go to law school. Law school is not enjoyable. It's truly an unpleasant experience. So they kick in his door, and Mr. Rochin is there with his shirt off next to his wife with some sort of, I forgot, some kind of a packet of something, either heroin or some kind of narcotics, and he swallows it. They wrestled the man to the ground, and I don't remember if they beat him, but they attempted to get him to vomit it up. They couldn't. They take him to the hospital. They pump his stomach full of an emetic and get him to vomit it out. And then he was charged with some petty misdemeanor possession charge. So this is a term in what lawyers will call shocks the conscience. Something is so repugnant. So it's an entirely subjective term, but to say it shocks the conscience of the court, that it's so repugnant to do that. And they actually threw it out based entirely on that.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I mean, not to mention the
immense
illegality.
One guy, I've worked with one dude that made case law. His name is Guy Griffin. He was a Iredell County Sheriff's deputy, and he was able to get a murder conviction without the body.
Oh, yeah, that's happened a few times in case law.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. That's the only one in case law that I worked. Right.
I have seen that happen a few times just from studying forensics, like maybe 3 times out of the 10,000 cases I've studied.
I don't know if he was the first one, because he is the one in the case law book, but I don't know if he was the first one to do it. I know he was the first one in North Carolina, but I don't know if he was actually the first one to do it. That made
coroner pulls up in North Carolina, looks at the body. That boy sure did. Mm-hmm. That's the coroner. That's the yeah. You do it better. There you go. That's the medical examiner. That's the autopsy.
All right, man. Well, I've been on here for 1 hour and 20 minutes, man, and I think I'm about to get off of here.
Already?
I appreciate everybody that came. You said what?
Already?
Yeah, man. I wasn't trying to be on here too long. Like I said, I just want to do that. If I really wanted the guy that my partner to come on and me being able to interview him, but he had to go to work, so I wasn't able to interview him. But
why do they have you guys
didn't
work
wanna-
12-hour shifts? Wouldn't it make more sense to do 8-hour shifts, or so you don't
8-hour shift would call for more manpower.
Right. Well, 3 shifts like every other job on earth.
Well, yeah, but I mean, can't a lot of departments can't afford to pay that many employees. You know what I'm saying? So it's easier to have them work a 12-hour shift and have less people than an 8-hour shift and have more people that you have to pay. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, and it's easier to cover a 12-hour shift than it is an 8-hour
Well,
shift.
then quality of work goes down, though. I mean, sleepiness is worse than being drunk, according to the studies I've read.
It is, and it's one of those things, man. Once you get used to working that 12-hour shift, it's not as bad. Where it really hurts is where I'm at in my career, in the middle point of your career, where you're working that 12-hour shift, but you're used to it. You're tired of it. You don't want to work that 12-hour shift no more. And it really starts getting, because if you saw me on the end of that video, man, I was tired. I was like,
Yeah, I
dumb.
could see it. Yeah.
So I mean, that's how it is usually on my 12-hour shifts. By the time I finish, my voice sounds like you can just tell I'm just tired, ready to get home. And on the way home, I got a 20-minute drive home. So on the way home, it gets a little rough sometimes, So I would love to work an 8-hour, go back to working an 8-hour. When I worked narcotics, man, that's what I worked. I worked an 8-hour shift, and
Do you want to become a detective or an investigator? What did you want to do with your career?
Well, I did the narcotics detective. I was the narcotics detective sergeant.
Detective sergeant, right? That rank.
Get it right, James. I mean, because
Depends on the department, man. Detective sergeant.
Detective sergeant was my title. Okay.
What about sergeant detective?
Well, from now on, you're gonna call me Sarge. How about that? But no, but yeah, I was a detective sergeant. I did that, man. Getting back into narcotics, I don't know if I want to do it, man, because I got kind of burnt out doing all the undercover. Because
you can't be a detective.
I was literally one of the. Yes, narcotics. With most departments, if you're in narcotics, you're a detective, because you're actually investigating. The narcotics and all that stuff. And in my situation, it was one of those things where I was really one of the youngest, and the only, black guy that could actually fit in, with my hats, and I wore earrings, and what I'm saying, like I just fit in. So it was like I literally did undercover everywhere. If they knew about me or heard about me, I was doing their undercover, and I just kind of got like burnt out behind it, because I would do 4 or 5 undercover buys in an 8-hour shift. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, I just got to the point where I just didn't want to do it no more like that. I would rather, now if I could get into narcotics detective work and just be a detective, I would do that. But doing the undercover, I really don't want to do undercover anymore. I did. It's
not enjoyable, or
I mean,
it doesn't do anything.
Well, I mean, it's just your just how your anxiety is up so high.
Because you can get killed pretty easily, right?
Right. I mean, if they find out you said something wrong, or if something like there might be 12 or 13 guys that's doing surveillance watching me, but if they do something wrong, if somebody notices them or something like that, and they suspect something, it's not just me I'm worried about. I'm worried about what they'll do, because I talk slang. I grew up in the hood. I could talk slang. It was nothing. But it's just the fact, you got this, you got a white guy riding around in the hood in a brand new car, and somebody sees a radio, and a new kid on the block, which is me, coming around asking for drugs, they might put 2. You know what I'm saying? So it's just always one of those things where my anxiety was real high when I worked undercover, man. And it was like, man, I don't want anything bad to happen. I don't want to take anybody's life. I don't want anybody to take my life, and stuff like that. So, the only undercover. Oh yeah, I always only undercover I never was armed at is when I had to do undercover in strip clubs. That's where I did a lot of my buyings in strip clubs.
Really?
Oh yeah, man. Dope boys go to the strip
club to buy narcotics in a place that isn't public.
Well, you got to understand, when it comes to a strip club, there are a lot of people in there looking to get high, and then the dancers in there are the go-betweens for the dope boys and the customers. Because the dancer might go over there and dance for them, have a conversation with them, and the guy might say, "Look, I'm trying to get this and get that." Listen, every single dope buy I have done in a strip club was from a dancer, and it connected to a dope boy. We could always get it connected to a dope boy, but it was always initiated with a dancer. So,
I never worked a lot of narcotics. I've only worked one, and I mean they're kind of interesting. There's a lot of money in it. I know there's a hell of a lot of money in narcotics. It's it's unbelievably.
That's why a lot of narcotics officers they start doing some old crazy, crooked stuff. I mean, because really, when you think about it, man, there's been cases when I've been in a room with a little small bedroom with money stacked up against the wall.
Literal piles of it, yeah.
Piles of it by myself, and
yeah, it's tempting. I would imagine, man.
It wasn't tempting. No, it wasn't tempting. But I could just say those kind of situations made me very, very nervous because I didn't want anybody trying to blame me for it. I didn't want to be in a room by myself because it was one of those things how easy would it be for me to do this, and how easy would it be for somebody to blame me for doing this? And I'm not, I ain't trying to do that.
Yeah, but it looks like it though. It looks pretty. Hey, 50 grand went missing. He was the only guy there.
Well, I wasn't the only guy actually there. I'd be the only guy in the room. Everybody else be outside getting supplies and stuff like that. I'd have to watch the room with the money or the drugs or something like that in there. And it was just like, yeah, I don't want to be here with this. I don't want to be here with this money. Shoot, y'all come and get this.
Do you remember back in the 80s? Do you I forgot the man's name in the 75th precinct in New York?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that documentary.
Yeah, that was good, man. Oh man. Oof.
Yeah,
Jesus,
man, it's easy. It is so easy. And then, oh, heads in their head. Go ahead and click that link on top, man, so you can come into this chat. Gasoline TV is here, y'all.
Gasoline TV.
Yeah, he's my partner. He works with me. He calls himself Gasoline TV.
I get the joke.
But it is even easier for the interdiction guys, the interstate interdiction guys.
Mm-hmm.
You stop a car that's got a bunch of money in it, and you're the only one on the side of the road with that car. It's one of those things. That's why, I never wanted to do interdiction or anything like that. But it is not an it is something that me as a narcotics officer, I thought about all the time. I did not want to be blamed or put in a situation where everybody even thought I was doing something like that. That's why I always.
What happens if you get accused? I mean, is there? I mean, I'm sure because it does happen a lot.
Oh, it's happened to me a bunch. Yeah, this happened to me a bunch. I mean, but usually what it is, because if somebody says they're missing money, how much money are you missing? And usually they don't even know how much money they have on them in the first place.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? So after let's say we get the money, we count it, we go count it, and we say, okay, we got $10,000 off of them. Well, he's gonna say, no, I had more than that. And we were like, how much did you have then? Like, what were you saying? How much are you saying you had? And you can't really tell us. Like, it's not really a whole thing. Like my most recent one was I got $8,000 off of somebody. And when the guy, so it's a lot behind the story, but basically they had to dismiss the charges because I no longer work for that department anymore. So they dismissed the case because I no longer worked there. I told them I wasn't coming to court, so y'all can go ahead and dismiss it. So they dismissed it. They told him to come back and get his money. Before they even gave him the money back and before he made any accusation, they asked him how much money he had. He said around $10,000, right? So they accused me of taking $2,000 because he said he had around $10,000.
Wait. Who takes $2,000 out of 10? Why not just take all the money?
Well, I mean, I don't know. My thing about it is around $10,000. $8,000 to me is around $10,000. I mean, you can't. He said he didn't give a specific amount. He just said he had around that, and they just said, "Oh, well, if he had around, he must have had $10,000. If he said he had around 10,000, it's like 8,000 and some change, $8,600 or something like that he had." And they tried to say that I took the remaining of 10,000, which was like 14, something like that.
So you risk a felony conviction and losing your job and a potential stretch in the penitentiary for $1,400. Okay, it doesn't seem very compelling. Crazy. Okay.
Crazy. So B-Law says, what happens to the money once it is taken? So we would take the money, put it in custody, put it in the evidence room. Once the trial goes through and all that stuff, we'll either ask the judge to see. There's a lot of stuff into it. Let's say we might tow the car and keep it for the trial or something like that. Well, it has to be paid for. You might ask the judge to take some of the money out to pay for that, or to pay for any expenses that we had, or have the money turned over to the state. You know, usually the money's turned over to the state and it goes to the school systems.
Usually a general
but
fund,
like
depending on the state.
right. But usually, or sometimes we might ask for, like, if there was any kind of special circumstances, we had to use our own money to pay for, you know, the tow bill or anything else that might have happened. The judge will grant us however much money we're out to pay out of that, and then the rest of it to go to either the school fund or the general fund or whatever they say that it goes to. And a lot of the money now a lot of the money goes to the taxes that are paid by the suspect also, because you have to pay a tax on any narcotics that you have. You have to pay a tax because you didn't get a tax stamp for that narcotics. So if you don't get a tax stamp and you get caught with narcotics, then you get charged double for not getting a tax stamp first.
There is actually case law on something like that. It was in the 30s, after right up around the time of Prohibition, to where this is anyone who works in the illicit trades. Here's a little bit of advice for you. Free legal advice, although it's not entirely legal advice. Say it's not legal advice, excuse me.
Yeah.
If you generate income from narcotics or illicit sales, that's fine. You must pay income taxes on it. The way that you do that is when you place when you file your return. I just call it filing. When you file it, you do not have to state the source that it is derived from, merely that it is income. That's from the U.S. Supreme Court. You need not specify the illegality of the source, only that it is income, because otherwise it would violate the Fifth Amendment. That's not a joke. That's the kind
that can be used. That can be used in court after you get caught selling drugs, though, right?
No, because
there's no other way of proving where that income came from.
That's correct. You'd have to find it independent of that.
That's what I'm saying. Income. So let's say somebody did that, right? And I do a historical investigation on them, and I find out that they filed taxes, 16, 17, 18. They filed taxes for $20,000 each year, right? So I go to court and I say, I believe that this money came from this history that I have of him selling narcotics, right? If they cannot prove that that money came from a different source, wouldn't that hurt them?
No, it's not because there's no burden on the accused to prove the legitimacy of his income. The only obligation he has is to report the income to the IRS and pay the taxes upon it. The actual source of the income is completely irrelevant.
I don't know, man. I've done a few RICO cases, and man, I don't know.
RICO. Oh yeah, RICO. Well, that's
what I'm saying. Like, okay,
I'm talking. You could use that as further evidence, but in and of itself, simply stating income could be used for something else. But because it's compelled, it can't be used. So that's one of the.
I know I could not get a conviction on just somebody's income taxes. I know that, but just that along with all the other stuff I have in my investigation. I don't
could certainly couple into it, sure.
Yeah.
Assuming you had someone that actually that'd be a little different, because that could be hearsay then, because you can't make the accused testify because he's the one who wrote it, so it's hearsay. You know what hearsay is?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, what's hearsay?
That's basically speaking in somebody else's words.
Not quite. No, it's non-testimonial. It's a non-testimonial declaration offered for the truth of the matter asserted, which is a convoluted way. That's the legal definition. It's a convoluted way of saying, if I look at somebody else's words. What?
Not only if you ain't testifying and you didn't say it, right? If you didn't say it, you can't use it because it's not something that comes from your mouth.
Oh, that doesn't matter. You can get that in 100 different ways. There's about 20 plus exceptions to hearsay.
I understand that, but basically the term hearsay comes from, let's say somebody says, and what did this person say? And I say, well, they told me this, and they say, no, that's hearsay.
It depends on what they said. You have a statement against interest or an admission that could be admitted.
Right. So that's basically something that I can't use because they're not on the stand saying it themselves, correct?
Not quite. No. If you're on the stand, if the state, it's a legal matter. Do you understand? Hearsay is one of the most complicated fields of evidence. It gives law students an unbelievable amount of difficulty, and it is fairly complex because there's about things that intertwine and mesh with each other.
Mhm.
So, because you have the Fifth and Sixth Amendments, that's one of the biggest things. So, if you're called to the stand and you say, and you're conducting an interrogation, what did the defendant say to you? He said, I don't know, I killed my wife because she smoked too many cigars. Let's say something like that. That you could object is that I could object saying that's hearsay. That's true, but it's admissible. It's an exception to the hearsay doctrine because it's what's called an admission against interest. Some states will codify it differently. That's what it is, an admission. So that's
just
okay.
like take somebody's dying testimony, right?
Dying declaration, that is a little bit different in that the presence of the declarant is immaterial. So in that instance, that is true. Dying declaration, that's an exception. Dying declaration is perhaps the best known one. Dying declaration is one. Although, do you know that the person does not actually have to die for that to be admissible?
Oh no, they have to think they're going to die.
That's correct. They must be under the reasonable belief of impending death. That is correct.
Yep.
You don't need to
That's
actually die.
Yeah, right.
At common law, that was only admissible in homicide trials.
Huh. Okay.
Not just any other felony trial. It had to be, yeah. Common law had some good doctrines. Today, I think hearsay is remarkably convoluted, and it is. But as a trial lawyer, you have to know evidence law cold. So, but the problem with it is that so it's the declaration to prove the truth of the matter asserted. So in that instance, the income tax form, it could be admissible, but you'd have to get the person who actually signed it to admit it, or you could try to get it as a business record. That could possibly work. Those are admissible, but then you'd have to get the records custodian to do that, which would require the person who actually filled it out, which would probably be the guy who filled it out, which would be the defendant, and the defendant cannot be compelled to testify. So that is here. So that at that point would be a violation of the Fifth, which would be inadmissible under that. But there's probably another exception that someone could find.
Well, I all I'm saying is I feel like a RICO trial that would be detrimental to a RICO.
Oh, that would certainly be, yeah. Depends on what it's based on, though.
I mean, because if I can get somebody convicted on the fact that they just knew a person was doing it, you know what I'm saying? Because a RICO trial, you can convict somebody just on the basis that they knew the illegal sales was going on. Just that alone. There have been, plenty of girlfriends that have apartments, guys selling the drugs out of the apartments. If they were in the room when it's going down, they're part of that RICO trial.
Part of the trial, they can't legally be held, not legally, criminally liable for
yes,
that.
They can.
Knowledge of
yep. Yes, sir. On a RICO trial, you can have a conviction based on the fact of them knowing that they were selling the drugs.
You have to show me a case because I find that difficult to believe.
Let me go to my files. I got
go to
at
your
least
files. Show me a case, counselor. It'd have to because if I watch someone kill another person, I know it's murder. I have no legal obligation to report that crime.
We're talking about drug law though. They're not talking about
RICO
homicide. It's a little bit different when it comes. RICO falls on a little bit different statute than just regular homicide law because that's not a federal crime. RICO is a federal. It goes on a federal level, so it's a little bit different than just a regular, local level homicide.
Right. So the drugs are more.
I know a little bit more than those, James. You know what I'm saying? I got a little bit more knowledge.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because RICO, very good. I haven't defended the case in federal court yet, though.
If it's a RICO trial, there's more than one defendant. It's usually
obviously, it's usually an organized crime. That's what they used to prosecute.
Right, it's the organized. That's really what it comes down to. Were you part of that organized crime? Because what the RICO trial comes down to when it comes to convicted someone that only had knowledge is so it has to fit some kind of criteria. One of them is the person that knew about it. How did that too? But how did they contribute to that organized crime?
There you go, contribute. There you go.
So the fact that they were using her apartment.
Oh, okay. Then the knowledge, then that could be used. Then that's different because then that's
with the knowledge. There you go. See, that's what I'm saying.
Yes, with the knowledge and intent.
Right. But just because I go over a friend's house and I'm over there chilling and then they do a drug deal in front of me doesn't mean that I can get convicted just because I saw a drug deal.
You got to specify. See, that's not a lot implied, man. If you made that argument in court, I would shred it. That's why.
Hey, I'm sounding just like a lawyer. That's all.
Yeah, you got to be specific, man, because that's all about specificity. It's unbelievable how you think it's petty, and my mother says that lawyers just what did she say? We just do nothing but split hairs. I'm like, well, yeah, that's kind of what. Although that's not actually true, because splitting hairs is arguing over trivial matters, and it's not trivial when someone can go to prison. Hence, by definition, it's not splitting hairs.
Stay sharp. What's going on?
What's Stay Sharp saying?
He just said, "What's up?" That's all.
Oh, okay. Hey, so do you know anything about?
You should be able to see the chat.
No, I can't. I can see the private chat. I'm going to look at the comments. Oh, yeah, now I see him. And they got Chris, Mr. 77, Mr. Joe Morgan.
77, I appreciate you coming, bro. Appreciate you coming.
Mr. Black Poindexter.
David McDonald, I appreciate you.
You took business law years ago.
Yeah.
I remember taking a number of courses on business law. It was mostly to do with organizations and whatnot, such as LLCs, LLCs, LLPs, general partnerships.
That's where the money's at, ain't it? That's where the money's at, ain't it?
It really depends on the kind of law that you practice. I personally I could never do corporate law. It's nothing. I mean, those who do corporate law can get paid well, but it depends though on what kind of work they do. Where they work is a big one too. An attorney I know, my stepfather, as a matter of fact, charges an incredible amount of money for his work. He's a phenomenal attorney, though. He doesn't do trials anymore, though. He just does simple. He's a paper pusher now, basically. That's what he does. He's like a traffic. He's like a traffic cop now. He's just pushing paper.
Right, paperwork. Stay sharp, man. Hey, I knew that's. Stay Sharp came to me not too long ago about his Glock, not
Glock
firing. Right. I said, man, it had to be that ammo because.
Bad primers or bad powder?
It's probably bad. It was most likely bad primers because he get a strike, but it just wasn't.
Yeah, so it wasn't a light primer strike. Then if you get a solid dimple, then it's got to be the dead primer. Then
right, it's a dead primer. Yeah. So
how do you know so much about firearms? Most policemen that I know don't know. To put it bluntly, don't know much about shooting. You seem to have a better background.
You are totally correct. Most law enforcement have no idea about.
Oh, I know
about firearms. I just been doing it for so long, man, and I like guns so much, man. I've just studied about them.
What do you know about the? I'm sorry, I've been interrupted.
Now, as far as the history of firearms going back, all that stuff, I really don't know much about that. But what I do know about the things that happen, like a bad primer, stuff like that, is stuff that I've been through myself, and I've researched myself because. I've been shooting for so long. I've been shooting since 2001. So, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just one of them things. I've been collecting since 2005.
Oh, yeah, it's good to know. But most policemen are just, oh, good God. One time I was cross-examining one police. It was a lady, actually. Her name was Jennifer. Sweet Jenny Penny. I didn't. She must have been about this tall and about that wide. I'm usually very gentle on most witnesses. But police officers, though, I don't want to say I'm mean on cross. What was that?
You don't have to be gentle with us. We are.
Oh no, and I wasn't gentle with her. And she had recovered a firearm from my client. It was a J-frame 38. It was a little 6-shot 38. I think it was I don't know what it was. It was a couple of years ago, and it was it was a good shoot. He was a felon in obviously that's a no-no. Felon in possession. Shot some man outside of a bar because he tried to stab him. And understand your ground, which gets probably what did Mr. Morgan say? I bet he is.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Oh, okay. So he shot a man outside of a bar because he attempted to stab him, or he thought he was attempting to stab him. He reached behind him and threatened him with a knife. And anyway, it was a good shoot, but obviously felon in possession of a firearm, that's a per se no-no.
Right.
And in understand your ground. Yes, Mr. Stay Sharp 215. It does, but I've seen that happen sometimes in new manufactured ammo too.
Oh yeah, Winchester. It's happened to Winchesters. I've had it in Winchester.
PMC,
I've had it in the HSP before. So I mean, it happens.
In the chair, yeah. So I bet he is. Yeah, I can be a little bit. I don't know what's the word I'd use. A little bit more strident with a police officer. I typically am, because, quite frankly, I believe that Lee Bailey was one of the, God rest the man's soul, was one of the best cross-examiners that this country ever produced. And his style was particularly strident. Anyway, so she was the initial arresting and investigating officer, and she recovered a .38 from him. Now, the state, for I don't know why, did not charge him with being in possession. I don't know why they did. That was such an I wouldn't have had a defense. I mean, I literally would have had to admit to that in order to make the defense just say, please don't convict him on that. And he was a good guy. It was aggravated battery like 8 years ago. You know, I thought he was a good guy. He worked at a local grocery store. He'd been spotless since then. You know, he was a solid guy in my opinion. He went out to a local bar to drink after work. One of the guys there gave him a lot of trouble. Went out there and almost stabbed him. So he shoots him clean through the torso, and he stays there. So my one of the things I made in closing argument was I quoted Isaiah. I'm not a big Bible reader, but I do like a few of them. And this one is, I said, ladies and gentlemen, what kind of a felon, a convicted felon in possession of a firearm, doesn't run after he kills someone if it's not justified? He knows what happens in prison. He knows that. He was arrested before. He's been thrown in prison before. He knows what's going to happen. But yet, he stayed there and allowed the group that went out of the bar to hold him until the cops showed up. Who in the world does that? Oh, I'm a felon in possession of a firearm. I'll just wait here nightly for the nice policeman to come and take me into custody. He'd run. That's what criminals do. They can run. I didn't swear. And I said to them, remember Isaiah, folks. Let me get it right. It was, right. The guilty man flees when no man pursueth, but the righteous man stands his ground as fierce as a lion. And that's why I knew it was a righteous shoot, because he stood there. Right. Anyway, so investigating officer comes up, Jennifer, and she ends up not searching the victim fully. She never searched his back pockets, which is where he reached for. He had an overcoat on. She searched. She didn't search him at all. I don't know why she didn't, but she didn't. She gets him. He gives up his weapon, that sort of thing. They take him into custody. That's that. Okay. All right. And he says, I didn't mean to kill him. That was like the state's big thing for their second-degree murder charge. Okay. On my cross-exam, I start out pretty gentle. It was maybe a 15-minute cross. It wasn't terribly long. I start out asking her some questions that I knew she wasn't telling the truth. I said, ma'am, as a police officer, you were trained in firearms in the academy. Yes, I was. You were trained in automatic pistols? Yes. Rifles? Yes. Shotguns? Yes. Revolvers? Yes. I knew some of that probably was okay. Then I said, you were trained in N-frame revolvers? Yes. K-frame revolvers? I like the list of sizes for Smith & Wesson I go through. And I knew she wasn't, because she was probably younger, probably about my age, maybe a little bit older. And I knew they hadn't been using those in policing for many, many, many years. Right. I asked her all that, and I get an objection as to relevance from the prosecutor. I just continue going through, and I knew that wasn't quite true. And I get to the end of it, and then I finally got into an area. I got into the Tooler drill. And my cross-examination ended, and I'm not kidding when I said I had a pen in my hand. It was a blue pen like this, and had a pen in my hand. And I said, and I was getting to the point where I was asking, he was about 4 to 5 feet from him when he lunged at him with a knife in his hands. And I said, and I didn't swear at her. I swore to her. And I said, think of the word, if I said, I'll cut you, would you shoot me? He's pulling back in the chair like that as I say this. Yeah, she barely squeaks it out. I said, thank you. I have no further questions. And it was about a 15-minute cross, but she was just done when I was finished with her, though.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. And going back to it, man, most police officers have never. They don't know anything about guns. Like, I had a police officer visit me not too long ago.
That's what it was. She referred to the ammunition as a shell. That there was 5 shells missing. I'm like, a shell? It wasn't a shotgun, was it? That's what I couldn't have said it more sarcastic. It wasn't a shotgun, was it? They don't make too many shotguns like that, do they? No. I was like, okay. Right. So, I mean, it's just one of those things, man. Police have it's the training. The shooting alone is it's not that good with law enforcement. But the training isn't there either. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wish we focused a little bit more on training and shooting when it came to guns and stuff like that. I know a lot of police officers that
their only gun is the one they carry to work. And then when they get home, they leave their gun in the car. They don't even bring it into the house.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know if
guns, they just steal it from people, right?
Right. And you know, it's just one of them things. Like I know a few police officers that do that. So, you know, it's just one of them things. But James, man, it was real good talking to you, man.
Likewise. When's your next one going to be?
This is the only way we can talk with each other in front of everybody.
Hey, I don't mind having an audience. It's fine. It doesn't bother me.
Right. So next time I go live, man, I will be dropping a video this Friday. It is in reference to do you get what you pay for? And I'm going to do a live after that, not right after the video. Probably I'm dropping a video Friday after work this weekend. So I'll be probably going live Monday and Tuesday reference to that question. Do you get what you pay for when it comes to firearms?
Depends, because usually. Yeah.
So and the reason why it's all explained in the video, I went on somebody else's live and we had a discussion about that. And a lot of people didn't agree with me with some of the things I was saying. Okay, guys, check out that video Friday, and like I said, I'll be going live that Monday or Tuesday to talk about that topic. So you guys have a good one, man. I appreciate everybody coming. James, I really do appreciate you coming on here and talking with me, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the ride along video this week, and y'all know what it is, man. I'm out.
Have a good night, man.